Gita Dhyanam. Om Partaya Pradibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Vrtavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusantadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshinim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. First of all, thanks for hosting this chapter 14. And chapter 14 is coming after chapter 13. That's the first thing we should understand. And Bhagavad Gita, as Gurudev would put it, is a man-making science, art of man-making. One would wonder when you read this statement, we are already a man or human. Why do you need to make anything out of it? The spirit behind that statement is, we are human, but we do not behave like one. We are all physically human only, not any animal, but we do not behave like human. That is why it is said, Bhagavan Shankaracharya also said, human birth is the most rare one. Are we really feeling that way? That we are very rare specimen? And the flip side of it is that we think we can do anything and we see the consequence of what we have been doing. You know that. If we are really human being, this would not have happened. Because a advanced, mature species is that which takes care of all others. It is like in your own home, a joint Hindu family, let us say, somebody is the senior most of the family, and what is the responsibility of that person? Take care of all others. Stand as an example and make sure that everybody is protected. But we as human beings, are we doing that? Instead of that, we are doing the opposite. Destroying, depleting the resources. And so this awareness that we are responsible people. We are next only to God, so to say. In terms of intelligence, creativity, ability, thinking, we are not animals and brutes. We have to think like God. We have to behave like a divine being. Bhagavan's avatars are all meant for that only. That how, as a human being, you should emulate the qualities and characteristics of the Lord. But we are, on the other hand, going down in our evolution, so to say. We are more behaving like animals than human. And the consequence of that is endangering all living beings, including ourselves. Now, one would wonder, what makes a human human? Answer is there only, man. Human, मन है तो मनुष्य है. मननात् मनुष्य है यदि कथ्यते. Because we are having a powerful tool called the mind. Because of this mind, human beings distinguishes, human person distinguishes himself, herself, different from, better than all other living beings. So this mind, if you don't understand what it really means, what it really helps, how it really helps us to become better, how it is capable of elevating ourselves to Godhood. If we don't understand that, we become only sense-oriented, body-oriented, and no better than any other living beings. All other khavo, pivo, mojudavo. Eat, drink, and make merry. That's all it is. Therefore, in the chapter 13, Bhagavan Krishna had very clearly distinguished these two things, matter and non-matter. Kshetram and Kshetrajna. And entire creation is none other than the combination of these two. He said in the verse 26 of 13th chapter, Yavat sanjayate kinchit Sattvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajnayoho yogam samyoga tadvidhi bharatarshava. Tadvidhi, come to know, O best among the Bharata, kshetra kshetrajna samyogat yavat sanjayate kinchit stavara sangama. Stavara and jangama. Stavara, that which is unmoving. Jangama, that which is subject to momentum or movement. All that moves and all that doesn't move. All are born out of Kshetra and Kshetrajna Sanyoga. Now the question is, Kshetram is inert, matter, and Kshetrajna is non-matter. Don't say it doesn't matter. Non-matter. So non-matter and matter, how do they come together? They have contradictory qualities. One is changing, another is not changing. One is subject to birth and death, another is not subject to birth and death. One is inert, another is sentient. One is limited, another is unlimited. One is conscious, another is not conscious. Now, in the Indian context, there are many simultaneous philosophies present. And one of the famous one is known as Sankhyan philosophy. And they have clearly defined matter and soul as Purusha and Prakriti. That is also taken up as a discussion in the chapter 13. Karya Karana, the Karya and Karana, cause and effect. This is the nature of Prakriti. And the entire creation, if you see, science comes to say that everything must have a cause and every effect is none other than the cause in a different form, as Gurudev would had also put it as a 3 laws of causation. So, karya karana kartrutve hetu prakriti ruchyate. That's what Bhagavan said in 13th chapter. Prakriti is the cause for all cause and effect that is going on in this whole universe. But cause does not become an effect without the presence of something making it happen. And that power that is there present, because of whom Prakriti is able to manifest itself in different forms, is Purusha. Now, therefore, Sankhyan philosophy holds the view Purusha and Prakriti are simultaneously present and they both are anadi. Prakritim Purusham chaiva vidhi anadi ubhavapi. This is the view that Sankhyans hold it. Point is, in this Prakriti and Purusha samyoga, there is no need for God. You understand? That's why the science also holds that view. There is no need for anything need for a God. It is between Purusha and Prakriti it is happening. Where is the need for God then? Therefore, Sankhyans are called Anishwaravadins. They do not have the concept of Ishwaraha, God, and they consider the entire creation is nothing but combination of matter and energy. Energy is independent, matter is independent. When they come together, the creation starts. But that is not the view of Vedanta. Vedanta holds the view that Purusha and Prakriti, though independent existent, the coming together is possible because of the common factor, and that is what is explained in this chapter 14. Though they both are independent, anadi, meaning beginningless, but they are not unconnected, unrelated. They are related to the same source. And why did they come to that conclusion? Vedantins, why did they come to that conclusion? The reason number one is matter. How did it come into existence? If it is say anadi, beginningless, the matter is beginningless, then you are considering the creation is also beginningless then. But all the way science is only trying to find out what is the origin of creation. Where did it all begin? So if you are looking for beginning, then matter must have some beginning. And what is the beginning of life? One thing is very clear, matter cannot create life. Inert cannot create sentiency. So even if we accept that inert matter cannot create sentiency, can sentiency create matter? A sentient thing, can it create matter? Either way, it is not possible. Matter cannot create life, life cannot create matter. So therefore, there must be something which is capable of making matter out of life. And that is where the mystery comes. So what Krishna holds the view is, one is real, please be careful about what I'm going to say now. One is real, another is apparently real. So when you say apparently real, what it means is one is real, another is unreal. Now, when you say unreal, it is not non-existent. Unreal means temporary existence. Your dream is real or unreal? It is real while experiencing, unreal after waking up. So the reality of the dream is not questioned while dreaming. On waking up, you come to know that it has no reality, but you didn't deny the experience. You went through that experience and woke up, and you know that it really did not happen, but do you think that, no, even though it was unreal, but I did experience it? In the same way, matter is unreal, experienceable, yet it is impermanent and it has no independent existence. That is the point Vedanta brings in. If matter were to be independent existence, it is as reality of its own, bondage will never end. There is no question of moksha there, because matter is always there. So when he said anadi in the previous chapter, both are anadi. What it means? Both have the source which is anadi. That's what you should understand. It is like I have two hands and both of them are from the same source. Though this is not like this. This has a different function. Let us say this is a different function, but they belong to me only. If I am anadi, then my hands are also anadi only. So the Ishwaraha is anadi and his expressions, both of them are anadi. One is temporary. Other one is also me only, but it is having a greater reliability, so to say. That is what he called as Kshetrajna. I'll come to this point a little later. Having explained Kshetram and Kshetrajna, Purusha and Prakriti, Bhagavan also explained Jnanam and Jneyam, knowledge and what is to be known. In the Jnanam portion, explained in 13th chapter, 20 values. Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti, Arjavam, Acharyupasanam, Shaucham, Sairyam, Atmavinigraha, Indriyartesha Vairagyam, Anahankari. So when he explained, he says that this is Jnanam. But that is not the Jnanam going to be mentioned here. It is Jnana Hetu. Values are Jnana Hetavaha. They are all required qualifications to gain knowledge. So he begins this chapter, chapter 14, as a link from the previous one. And he says, I'm going to tell you again. अरे बाबा ये भी यही बार बार बताना होगा क्या? Yeah, because you don't pay attention. He says, Arjuna, I have to tell you again. So he says, let us start with chapter 14, first verse. Om Sri Paramatmane Namaha. अथ चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूय प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम् यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिमितो गताः। श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूय प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम् यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिमितो गताः। Any Vedantic text, you should understand four factors, four important things. Anubandha Chatushtaya it's called. Number one is, who is qualified to listen to this knowledge? Number one. It's called Adhikari Lakshana. What is the subject matter that is going to be discussed in the textbook? That is called Vishaya. Grantha Vishaya. The third one is Prayojanam. That is result of this, benefit of this knowledge. The fourth one is Sambandha. How the knowledge will lead to this final result for the qualified person. Interestingly, Bhagavan in this chapter finishes all the four in the first verse itself. And that is a way a teacher should be. A teacher should mention who is the qualified student to listen to and what is the subject matter, what do you get out of it, and how that knowledge will make you realize that result. Right? Now you see here, who is the qualified person here? Munayaha. He says very clearly that in the second line you see, Munayaha. Men of contemplation. Manana Shilavan Munihi. It is said. A Muni is one who is living a life of contemplation. Munihi should not be translated as sannyasi. Because in our Hindu tradition, the fourth stage of life is sannyasa. And in many places, what we see is, in the past at least, people take to sannyas even though they are not qualified for it. Because fourth stage, hona hi hai. It is like if a person is a 30-year-old, 32, is it not that you ask that person, are you not married? In the past, when a person passes 55, then they'll ask, are you not taking sannyas now? Abhi tak nahi hua. Kyun nahi hota? It's like, are you not retired? You ask that question to your friends who are 60, 65. Don't you ask that question? Why are you not retired? I'm not tired. So that retirement is a necessary stage, whether you like it or not. Correct? So in the past, they had this tradition after that Savanaprastha ashram, and after that sannyas, lena hi hai, whether you are qualified or not. So they are not the person who are mentioned here. Please understand that. Muni does not mean sannyasi. Muni means he can be a brahmachari also. It can be a grahastha also. He can be a householder. He can be a student. Still, he can be a Muni. Why? What is very important here is the quality of that person is man of contemplation. A person of contemplation, one who has done the Shravanam, one who has done enough of listening to the scriptures, then he has taken to solitude and started to reflect upon the truth exclusively. Such a person is the Adhikari. Okay, what is the Vishaya? Jnanam. And what Jnanam is that? Uttamam Jnanam. Bhagavan doesn't just say Jnanam, because you should not think Jnanam as what I said, as values. No. That's why he says Uttamam Jnanam. And what is that Uttamam Jnanam? Jnananam Uttamam Jnanam. Among the knowledge, the best. The best among the knowledge. Any marketing person would know, when you want to sell, this is the best, this is ultimate. Nothing beats this. And the next year, he will say the same thing about another product. Because they want to sell. So Bhagavan here also, 9th chapter also, he said, the Rahasyam I'm going to give you, the best royal secret I'm going to give you. Rajavidya, Rajayogam, Rajaguhyam. Pavitram idam uttamam pratyakshabhagamam dharmyam susugam kartumam vyayam. Here he says, jnananam jnanam uttamam jnanam. Now, let me briefly tell why it is uttamam jnanam. Uttamam jnanam moksha jnanam. Chadurvida purushartheshu pratama purushartha dharma. यद्यपि चरम पुरुषार्थः मोक्षः चरम पुरुषार्थत्वात् एव प्रथम पुरुषस्य लक्ष्यं प्रथम पुरुषः प्रथम पुरुषार्थः is meant for charama purushartha, meaning dharma is finally culminates in moksha, should culminate in moksha. And therefore, among the Purushartha, it is called Parama Purushartha. Among the human endeavors, righteous living is one thing, righteous earning is second, righteous enjoyment is okay, but realizing and liberation is considered the highest. So, Dharma Jnana hi hai, Artha Jnana bhi hai, Kama Jnana bhi hai, but Moksha Jnana jo hai, wahi hai Uttama Jnana. If dharma, artha, kama you have done, but if you have not pursued your moksha, then what will happen, he will tell you later. If you don't pursue that moksha jnanam, uttama jnanam, what will be the end result? That will be said. But if you pursue this knowledge, what is the result? Param siddhim ito gataha munaya. That is the prayojanam. The end result of this knowledge is moksha, meaning param siddhihi. The supreme accomplishment. Itaha means this, beyond this life, after this life. Asmat janmat anantaram. From this life, beyond this life, they do not have a reason to come back. That's why ito gataha is written. From here they move. Kena Upanishad also says very clearly, Yah ched avedid ata satyamasti na chedihan avedid mahati vinashtihi. If you gain this knowledge in this life, you are saved. It's great. If you don't get this knowledge in this life, uh, great is your destruction. You wasted it. So, what is the qualification, Muni? Muni Lakshanam is called a qualification. Mananashilanam, Mananashilata, that is. Then Vishayaha Jnanam, Moksha Jnanam, Uttamam Jnanam, the best of the knowledge. Prayojanam Phalam is Siddhi, Param Siddhihi, supreme realization of the highest liberation. How it can be accomplished? Yajnatva, having known which. Meaning, this knowledge is that which does not remain as an intellectual understanding. It will make you realize the highest truth if you have understood correctly. Yajnatva, that is a sambandha. The sambandha or the relationship is, the knowledge is meant for moksha only and not any other purpose. Meaning, with this knowledge, you can't do anything else. You can't practice medicine. You can't become a civil engineer or software engineer. You cannot become a journalist. उसका प्रयोजन एक ही है, मोक्ष. अरे मैं तो आत्मज्ञान जान लिया, क्या करूं उससे? ऐसा प्रश्न नहीं पूछना है. You cannot ask a question, okay, I've got Atmajnana, now what do we do with this? Is it a certificate course? Ijñātva param siddhimido gataha munayah. Men of contemplation, having gained this knowledge, has reached that supreme end from here, having gone from here, mean asmin lokat pretya. Asmin lokat pretya moksha gataha, moksha siddhim gataha. So they have obtained that liberation, freedom from the identification with matter. Therefore, Arjun, again I am going to tell you, param bhuyaha. So param goes with jnana, okay? Bhuyaha pravakshami jnananam uttamam jnanam param. Supreme knowledge. Param jnanam, jnananam uttamam jnanam pravakshami. All right. So you have said that you are going to teach me. Arjun is very eager. Because in this chapter, no, Arjun did not ask any question. You see that. It's not that an answer to a question here. Without Arjun even asked that, Bhagavan says, no, I'll tell you. The eagerness to teach him. Because there is always the guru has a doubt. Have they really understood what I said so far? Or still there is a lingering doubt there. Let me clarify this so that there is no ambiguity. All right. Let us see what he is ready to say as jnana. When he said that param siddhimito gataha, they will reach the highest moksha or highest position or highest end, what does that mean? What do you mean by the highest accomplishment, moksha? We always have this doubt. No, Swamiji, let us say somehow I got moksha. Somehow. Somehow, hooker group I got. What happens? What happens? What do you mean by that? So here Bhagavan says very clearly what I mean by that param siddhi is, verse number 2. We read here. Let me put this here, there. Idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanti cha idam jnanamupashritya mama sadharmyamagataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena vyatanti cha. Idam jnanam, this knowledge, upashritya, having resorted to, taken shelter in, mama sadharmyam agataha bhavanti. Munaya. Those people who have gained this knowledge, they will finally reach mama sadharmyam, identity with me. Now, usually the word sadharmya means similarity of quality. Dharma, sadharmya. Sadharmya means similarity. But Shankaracharya very beautifully writes in his commentary, here sadharmya means ekatvam. Ekatvam. Not similarity. Like for example, you take a iron rod and place it in the fire. After some time, when you remove the iron rod, you will find it is glowing like fire. It is very hot, red in color, and you can use in place of fire. In lathe, we use it as in place of fire, because fire cannot be used. You need to have something which can take the qualities of the fire and which can be used in place of fire. So that iron rod has become sadharmya, agni sadharmya. It has gained the qualities of the fire, but it has not become the fire. It still holds its quality of being iron rod. Right? Because after some time, you take it away from the fire for a while, and then it will slowly, it will start becoming again cold, and then black, cold rod. ये ऐसा नहीं है. That's what it is. So sadharmya here means ekatvam. Yata, just like nadi merges with the ocean. When the river has merged with the ocean, can you take out the river later on from there? It has lost its identity. It can never be again regained back. You cannot separate Ganga. This is Ganga, that is Yamuna, that is Sindh, that is something. You cannot take it out of that ocean. It has become one. It has lost itself. Yahi hai sadharmya. Meaning, if you have this knowledge and hold on to it, that is a ashritya. Meaning, abiding in this knowledge. Ashraya means abidance. When you thus abide in this knowledge, the result of which is you become me. who else who can say like this? Huh? Bhagavan only can do that. He said, I will give me to you. You don't remain different from me anymore. That's why he says, Jnani to atmaiva me matam. A Jnani is me, myself. I don't see myself different from him, nor does he see myself different from him. He doesn't see me different, I don't see him different. So that is called ekatvam. And therefore, when the sarga or srishti takes place, they don't come back again. Sargepi na upajayante. There is no rebirth for such an individual. When the sarga here means, when Brahma, see what happens is, there are two kinds of moksha that are spoken about, where an individual can remain for a long time merged with Brahma in Brahmaloka, but then next creation, it will again take up the birth. That is one kind of moksha. But here, jnana moksha is that where, having reached which, thereafter, even as the next creation started by Brahma, he will not be born again. Why? The vasanas for rebirth is already burnt by the Atma Jnana. So here, sarge srishtikale na upajayante na punarjanma bhavati. Tesham na bhavanti, tesham na punarjanma. There is no punarjanma, again birth for them. And during the pralaya, when the dissolution takes place, if they have this knowledge, when the pralaya takes place, navyatanti, they are undisturbed. This he shown in 11th chapter very clearly. In the 11th chapter of Bhagawad Gita, where Bhagavan showed his Vishwarupa darshan, at that time, people who are prakrita janaha, the common people were so afraid, so unhappy and disturbed, and they were agitated when they were when they were all swallowed or merging into the Lord. And some of the Rakshasas who do not want to go, they were seen when in the mouth of the Lord, when it is crushed half the body out of the body inside. They don't want to go. It is like, eating that big burger, I always remember this is the same situation here. Half of it is outside, half of it is inside. You try to push it inside. Gurudev used to say that, when you're eating this noodles, then the stick is there. And the stick is meant for pushing it inside. And not only picking up, but they're pushing it inside also, because it still seems to come out. So those people who are reluctant to leave, why they are reluctant to leave? Because they are so attached to the world. And they don't want to leave it. And therefore, vyatanti, they are so disturbed. But munayaha, these munis, even as the pralaya would take place in front of them, navyatantite, they are not at all agitated. Why? After all, I am going to Bhagavan only. Where else? Now, let me ask you this question. Every day you go to sleep, right? Some of you are doing right now also. Now, when you go to sleep, are you not leaving the world? Whether you like it or not. Are you unhappy about it? Oh, I'm leaving the world. Even the most precious thing that you're holding so dear to yourself, yeah, I got recently diamond studs or whatever. Even whatever is so precious, so costly, whatever, everything you have to leave. And you are not unhappy about it. You know why? Because the joy of sleep is greater than all this. Renunciation is greater joy than anything else here. Kasya sukam na karoti viraga. All of us do every day. Unknowingly, unconsciously. ये दुनिया को छोड़ना इतना खुशी है, इतना शांति मिलता है उसमें. And we are not unhappy to do that also. What to do? Every day I have to leave this world. You know why we are not unhappy? Because we are going to come back. We are very sure about that. If somebody says, today when you go to sleep, I'm telling you, you are not coming back. You will not sleep. Then, नहीं आ रहा है, I won't come back now. तो नहीं जाऊंगा. But we are sure that we are going to come back. See, every day if you realize that after that I'm not coming back, then go into sleep. Let us see what happens then. That will become a paramashanti. Even when you come back to this world, you know that after some time I have to leave this. So, pralaye na, at the time of dissolution, na vyatanti. What does it mean? They have understood the false nature of this world. Leaving that has no problem for me. It is of no real essence for me. There is no reason why I have to hold on to this. Sarge binopajayante. At the time of next cycle of creation, they do not get born, nor when they are to leave this world for good, they have no agitation in their mind. So that is the effect of this knowledge. That is what is called moksha jnana. First and foremost is they are not going anywhere else. They are merging in me. They are becoming one with me. And they are not going to come back. And as even the pralaya takes place, dissolution, they have absolutely no agitation about it, unhappiness about it. That is why it said, jnananam uttamam jnanam. That's why I said this is the best knowledge. All right, I understood that. Now, well, see, every chapter has got something unique to give, no? Otherwise, it will not be such a repetition of the same thing. The best teacher is one who makes every class interesting. When I was teaching this Sandipani course for 2 years, the greatest problem for me is I'm going to take the same subject every day. How to make it interesting to them. Thank God the scriptures are like that. They are able to bring new dimensions to the same subject. Every Upanishad is the same subject, only Brahma Vidya. But the way they treat the subject, Mundaka Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, Prakadarni Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, everything, each one has got a different flavor altogether. Similarly, every chapter is unique. Even the subject matter is the same. So here Bhagavan says, as the beginning itself I said, Kshetram and Kshetrajna, the matter and the soul. How this connection takes place? The soul which is sentient and the Kshetram, the field which is insentient, how can they come together? What is the connection? So we'll read the verse here, verse number 3. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Mahad Brahma. Purusha and Prakriti, they have different characteristics as much as Kshetrajnaha and Kshetram. Now somebody asked me this question. What is the difference between Kshetrajna and Purusha in the 13th chapter? Kshetrajnaha is Sakshi, Purusha is a participant. You see, Nya Janati. Nya means Janati, one who knows. Don't I know I have this body? I know I have this body. I can see it. So aham dehajna. I know aham, this is a deham. This is a body. Sharirajna. Shariram janami. But when I say aham shariram, then I have identified with this. This body to I am body, this body to I am the body, there is a difference. I know I have the body versus I am the body. So when it becomes I am the body, then I have gained or I have identified with the qualities of the body as me. Bhagavan made it clear in the chapter 13, Purushaha Prakritistaha. The Purusha is sitting in the midst of the Prakriti. Purusha Prakritisto hi bhungte. Next word he puts is bhungte, experiences. And how does he experience? Knowing is not an experience. Body I know. I don't experience body by knowing it. Only when I identified with the qualities of the body, then I experience it. For example, you give a Rasgulla in front of me. I know it's Rasgulla. But Rasgulla experience does not take place unless it put it in my tongue or not. When does it that it becomes an experience? Sparshat. When that contact takes place. And contact means what? I have taken it into me. Correct. A thought also, I can watch or I can experience. Watching a thought is meditation. Experiencing thought is where I become sufferer of that or experiencer of whatever it is. So, Kshetrajnaha is not Bhokta. But Purushaha Bhokta. Purusha is an experiencer of Prakriti. And what is the reason why he experiences? Guna Sangaha, he puts there. Identification with the qualities. So now, Kshetrajnaha, Bhagavan said, I am. Idam shariram kaunteya. This body is Kshetram iti This is known as Kshetram. Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetram Ityabhidiyate. Etat yo veti, one who knows, is Kshetrajna idi Tatvidaha. One who knows this as Shariram is Kshetrajna. And he also said, Kshetrajnam chabi mam vidhi. And that Kshetrajna, the Sakshi Chaitanya, mam, I. Sarva Kshetreshu. In all bodies. Meaning what? Ekaha Kshetrajna. There is only one Kshetrajna, one consciousness, witnessing all bodies, present in all bodies. So if all bodies have one Kshetrajna, all bodies have come from one source, and that one source is called Mahad Brahma, otherwise known as Prakriti. And Prakriti by itself, matter by itself, cannot be multiplying itself to many. It needs a power, an initiator. So the Prakriti becomes a power to manifest itself as many, and that I do. And that's why he says, Mama Yonihi, my womb is Prakriti, Mahad Brahma. Tasmin, in that, Aham Garbham Dadami. I put the seed. I plus put my seed, meaning my power is placed in that. I will explain that about this in the next class. Because of my seed I have put in that garbha, in that womb called Prakriti, from there, Sarvabhutanam Sambhavaha Bhavati. All being come to exist. Thereafter, Tataha. This you understand, A Bharata. Now we'll see more how this whole creation takes place because of the engagement of the Lord in the process of creation through Prakriti. All right. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.